Welcome to class number 11. This class, as you watch it, there may be a lot of separations, there may be a lot of editing, because I'm telling you, it was an absolute intense class. When you're learning about the compensation plan, you should have heard all the questions that are coming forth and people asking about particular situations within their compensation. And it was pretty intense. And when you're talking about numbers, especially something that is brand new and really you may not have a lot of understanding about, you may want to revisit, rewind, replay some of the sections of this training, because once you learn how the power of AdvoCare and how we compensate the distributors, the more you're going to be excited about it.
So the reality for me is that numbers are a little bit of a challenge. So when I first got into AdvoCare and I was asking Bob, now how do we get paid and how does this work? And he just seemed to pick up on the numbers and he's very intelligent with numbers. I was like, I'm not getting this at all. And so I had to hear it over and over and over and over again. And in my own mind, I thought, am I ever gonna get this? But you know what I did? I just watched it and watched it and watched it. And one day, it just all made sense, seriously. And then explaining it is a whole nother ball of wax, because understanding it is one thing, but explaining it to somebody else is another whole nother challenge. But you're gonna do both in this class. You're gonna learn it and explain it to somebody else. But this is what I want you to know. We've had people who kind of just close their ears to the pay plan and just, if they don't like numbers like me, and just run and help people. And that's what we want your focus to be. But do you know that kind of playing the ignorance role in the pay plan will hinder you a little bit? Because what we know is that when people learn the pay plan, it's like this lid comes off of them and they all of a sudden go, oh, I get it. And they now can see the bullseye. It would be like taking darts and just throwing them and hoping they hit something. And then one day you understand the pay plan and you see the board. You see where you're supposed to hit your darts. Because if you're building a Ruby organization, it's very strategic how people fall in line and how your numbers come together. And thank goodness the computer system figures out all the numbers for us. But understanding it will set you free and can potentially advance you very quickly in this business. So take the challenge, understand the pay plan, and watch this over and over and over again if you have to. Let's go to class.
We're in class number 11. Feels good, doesn't it? We're in class number 11, and I'm going to be talking about the exciting subject of the pay plan. Now, some of this, what I'm going to be talking about, it may be redundant for you. It may be a repetition of terminology you may already know. But for some of you that are brand new or have been in AdvoCare for a short period of time, some of this AdvoCare lingo that we start throwing out there, like it's amazing how I know the AdvoCare lingo and I throw it out to you, like a term called PGV. Now, understand the word PGV is not common conversation outside of the world of AdvoCare. It's just not one of those things we like to talk about. Pay periods, star legs, business volume. Do we talk about that outside of AdvoCare? And so a lot of us, when we hear this terminology, we don't really know what I know about it, but you may not know about it. And so we're going to kind of help you out through this process. And it's going to be building on each other. So class 11 and 12 are going to be combined about the pay plan. But class 11 will lay a lot of the foundation of terms that we're going to use in class 12 as well. So you may want to refer back to class 11 or this class and kind of get some, get some of the terms down. First term I want you to understand, and this is a term that I'm surprised at how many people really don't know what it is. And it's called a pay period. In AdvoCare, we get paid off of pay periods. And what a pay period is, it's roughly a 2-week period of time. It ends on the first and the third Tuesday of every month. And it's one of those things where it's a beginning point of your business. We all start at zero. I'm going to give you an example really quickly. This happens to be August of 2011. If a pay period ends on the first and the third Tuesday of every month, and what I'm going to need some class participation. So you all right with that? Can you deal, because the reason why if I don't get class participation, then some of you will start, your eyes will start, don't glass over on me as far as you want to make sure you're with me. So I'm going to get some class participation here, okay? So we're talking about pay periods. If it ends on the first and third Tuesday of every month, what was the first pay period that was ending in the month of August?
Second.
August 2nd. Well done, guys. So we have a pay period ending on August 2nd. Well, the great thing about a pay period ending is we have a brand new, fresh start right here. And this is the beginning of a pay period, is August 3rd. The great thing is all of us, every single one of us starts at 0 on August 3rd. The reason why pay periods are relevant is because when we're talking about paychecks, we all have a beginning point, we all have the ending point, which in this case, it begins on August 3rd. When's the close of that pay period? August 16th, exactly. And so what people are looking at is when they're looking at their calendar and looking at pay periods, we're paying attention to this date, but we all begin on this date. And when we're talking about, the mixers, that are taking place everything is going to lead into the close of the pay period. And the reason why the close of the pay period is so relevant when we're talking about getting to advisor, how we get paid here. For all of us that have been in AdvoCare for an extended period of time, we pay close attention to the close of the pay period. But when Jen and I first got started, we paid very close attention to that based upon the bonus structure, how much volume we were creating over over a period of during the pay period. Also, our goal every pay period was creating $3,000 worth of volume every pay period. And so many of us, when we wake up August 17th, and the pay period has already come and gone. And we're like, we just finished with the pay period. And we're wondering why our paycheck is not necessarily growing. Don't let this just be another date. This is a very important date in AdvoCare. Now, when we're talking about volume, I'm going to give you some definitions really quickly. PGV, that stands for personal group volume. That's retail volume. Now, what's the personal side, what's the group side, and what's the volume side? Okay, so I just want to kind of break that down for you. First of all, personal volume. As far as personal volume in the PGV, the personal volume side of it is your personal orders plus anybody that gets on your website as a retail customer and orders product, plus anybody who is enrolling as a wholesale customer that is not in the process of becoming an advisor. So if they order less than $500 worth of volume of product, so less than $500 of retail value of product, they're considered part of your personal volume. And I'm going to give you some examples that kind of help illustrate this a little bit. What is group volume? Group volume is anybody that becomes a wholesale customer with you that is in the process of becoming an advisor and qualification towards advisor. So basically, they have over $500 in PGV themselves, and they become part of group volume. The reason why the personal and the group volume are so relevant is in the process of becoming an advisor. It becomes less relevant after you've already become an advisor, but as the process of becoming an advisor is very important for you to pay attention to that in your business. What is business volume? And business volume is very important in class 12 when we're learning the third and the fourth way of getting paid. Business volume, because some people have that question when they make an order and they see the retail value and all of a sudden down below this says business volume. I was like, well, what is that? And it really has no relevancy whatsoever in regards to making the order. But business volume is very important to a figure that we're going to be calculating down the road in class 12. And business volume is roughly half of the retail volume of the product. So PGV is half the PGV on average, so 50% of that. But I just want you to let you know some of those definitions on the front end as we build on these classes, and you're going to get a better understanding as far as how the class is going to work. So we're talking about PGV. Let me break it down for you so you can have a better idea. And it's very important, especially everybody here in this class is an advisor. But if you're helping somebody get to advisor, you want to know. It's very important for you to understand what personal volume, what group volume is. If you don't know that, you're going to have a hard time helping people work their way up to an advisor. You're going to be calling your mentor and saying, well, how much product order they need to make, and it gets confusing, right? How many people have been in that situation where you're helping somebody get to advisor and you don't know what they need to do? Well, after knowing some of these terminology, you'll know how to do it. Let me give you some examples, and I'm going to need some class participation here. You down with that? All right. Say, this is you. You make a $200 product order. You have somebody with you, and you're already an advisor. You have somebody with you make a $500 product order, and they become a wholesale customer. Then you help somebody make a $150 order. And help somebody else make a $150 order. Okay, tell me this. How many What's your personal volume right now? 350, exactly. And the reason why is because, remember, what's the definition of personal volume? It's your personal retail orders, retail customers that order, but then plus anybody who makes an order less than $500. So right here, this is part of personal volume. Now, if this order happened to be 500, what would it be considered? Group volume. Now, how much group volume do you have? 650, exactly. So are you getting the process here? Now, any volume that takes place from here down, from this personal, because this is somebody who's in qualification towards advisorship. No matter what this order is, this person is qualified. So in this case, your personal volume happens to be 350. Your group volume is 650. Your total PGV is $1,000. Now, what's his personal volume? 650. I mean, now, because his personal order is $500, plus he enrolled somebody as a wholesale customer, it's $150. Is that making sense? Now, again, this is, for you, if you're already an advisor, you just look at volume. I mean, you're looking at this number right here. That's all you're looking at. But if you're helping somebody get to advisor, these figures right here become very, very relevant. Pay attention to these things when you're helping somebody get to advisor. And also, as you hear these numbers, when somebody calls and say, well, how much order I need to make, you say, well, let me call Bob and Jenny and find out. And versus doing that, you can figure it out yourself. What's your personal volume? 500. Okay, what's your group volume? Good. So in this case, a personal order is $200 and had a wholesale customer order at $300. No, this just throw another scenario in, okay? Say if this person enrolls somebody and becomes a wholesale customer for $200. Now what's your group volume in this scenario? It's $1,000 as your group volume. Why is it $1,000 your group volume? The reason why is because $500, this is, you already figured this out, this group volume, because this is somebody who's in qualification towards advisorship. In this case, you have somebody who made a $300 order, plus he enrolled somebody as a wholesale customer, $200. Now, in this case, and you're going to learn how to get to advisor, in this case, this is $500 worth of personal volume for this guy. Now he's in qualification towards advisorship. While he's in qualification towards advisorship, your volume goes from personal volume to group volume. So combined here, it's $1,000 worth of group volume and $200 worth of personal volume. Now, the reason why this is so relevant, because we were talking about getting to advisor. If you're helping this person out, and this person happens to not be an advisor, this is very important to know, because when somebody's becoming an advisor, one of the criteria, if someone's working their way up to advisor, they need to have $500 of personal volume. If they don't have $500 of personal volume, they're not considered working towards advisor. Well, in this case, if this person enrolls somebody at $200, you'd be excited about it because you're helping them out. But if you don't know this, they don't know that they need to do another $300 in personal volume. They need to enroll somebody else at $300, or a couple people at $150, or ordering $300 in personal product themselves. Is that making sense? It's very important to know, and it's really simple. Simplify this entire thing. This is just math. Anything, separate it from this person down. Any person that he signs up, separate it all. Put this person in a different category. Once this volume gets over $500, if they're not an advisor, it gets towards group volume. Anything that's created. So paying attention to his personal volume could become your group volume. And the only thing, again, the only reason why that's important is if someone's going on their qualification towards advisorship. If you're already an advisor, it's irrelevant, it's just volume. So you just pay attention to volume. Does that make sense? Again, this is one of those things, guys, whether this is 6th grade algebra or college calculus, this is not something you're going to learn, just everything's going to make sense. I mean, I had to sit down and actually study of how the pay plan works. But again, the more I understood it, the more I got excited about this business. So some of you might be saying, well, what's the point of personal group volume? I'm going to get to that, and it becomes very relevant down the road. But just know it's going to start unlocking some wisdom as far as really how powerful Advocare is as a business. And again, this $200, it's $300, all this volume is, you know what it is? It's lives being changed with the products. The powerful thing about this is that $200 is not $200 of just an irrelevant, erroneous amount of money. It's actually a 24-day challenge that's going to help somebody lose weight. Again, don't lose sight on the fact that we're here to do one thing, that's impact people's lives. And when we're helping volume and helping people create volume, again, it's about the product. It's about the end user. It's about them being impacted personally with the products. Now, here's where it becomes relevant. As an advocate, we have a terminology called advisor. And we really need to know whether you're already an advisor or not. You need to know how to communicate how to get to advisor. And it's one of those things, if you can give them the benefits versus the X's and O's or the reasons or the whole different ways of doing it, you got to be able to promote the benefits of becoming an advisor. And it's not just about jumping away at the advisor level. I mean, that's the quickest, most efficient way of becoming an advisor is jumping away at the advisor level. But that's not the only way of doing it. Jenny and I, we worked our way up to advisor in 17 days. We didn't jump our way at the advisor level, so you can still become wealthy or still build a great business, whether you buy your way in at the advisor level or work your way up. I will say this, if Jenny and I knew of all the benefits, or if we had actually had ears to hear the benefits of becoming an advisor, we would have done it a lot faster. If people really understand the reasons why or the benefits of becoming an advisor. Here's some of the benefits. I'll read these off to you so you can write them down. Our products are about the end user. They sell fast. I mean, if you have 18 to 20 people that want to buy a 24-day challenge, that's an advisor order. When I'm explaining an advisor order, it's basically you get to order $3,000 of product of your choice. You get to order $3,000 of product of your choice. Does it cost $3,000? Absolutely not. When we say, how much does it cost? Well, it costs $3,000. No, it doesn't cost $3,000. The reason why is because you get to order $3,000 of product of your choice. The product's going to be marketable. The product is going to be going directly to the people you love and care about, whether it be just 24-day challenge, whether it be performance products, whether it be all canisters of Spark. It's $3,000 of product. It's not a store. You're not ordering a bunch of prostate support and Formula W and all these products that maybe you may want to take it, but it's not going to be necessarily marketable. You want to market the energy and the weight loss side, whether it be 24-day challenges, whether it be performance products, whatever you're looking to market to the people you're personally associated with, it's $3,000 of product of your choice. Now the actual investment, and it is an investment. The reason why it's an investment, because you get something in return. It's not like it's a sunk cost. We've got to focus in our terminology. There's no such thing as cost. So the $2,100 investment, and the reason why it's an investment is because when you buy $3,000 of product for $2,100, you get a return on your investment. Pay attention to your terminology. If you're not saying that, if you're saying it's a cost, people associate cost with negativity. They associate investment with positivity. Focus on your terminology, because I noticed as I would share that, and what I believed, and what I believe today is $2,100 is a small investment. Because I'm telling you, people, what they invest in, you know what I'm talking about, business owners? How many business owners do we have here? There's a lot. And not just Advocare people, but business, if you're buying a business, the overhead, the employment, the tools, I mean, everything that you have to do in order to run a business, Corey, you're talking about as far as big business and having employees, this is not like an Advocare. Advocare is a very minimal investment, but I believe that in my heart. When Jenny and I first got started, Jenny had a hard time saying $2,100. What we knew the cue is Jenny, when we started talking about people becoming an advisor, Jenny would say, I got to use the restroom. Jenny would go to the restroom, and I would say, here's the deal. It's $2,100 investment. And I would be the one that, because I believed in my heart it was a minimal investment. That was part of our method of operation. Jenny would leave the room to go potty, and I would share $2,100. Because I believed in my heart it was a minimal investment. Because I know what it costs to build a business. I mean, as far as the amount of money. And it just makes sense for people. And the reason why that also is because we're going to be sharing class 11 and 12 as far as how to earn income. You're going to see, as becoming an advisor, how it's going to maximize your money. That's all about advisorship. When I'm explaining how to jump your way at the advisor level, I'm saying it to benefit them, not me. It would benefit me more is if they just work their way up, because I make more money. So you explain it with some authority about becoming an advisor. It's a smart business commitment. And if you don't believe that, again, go back to the belief and figure out really what you believe as far as the benefit is of becoming an advisor. You receive a better discount. You'll have a stronger commitment. This is a monkey see, monkey do business. In other words, if you become an advisor and somebody says, well, what did you do? Well, I became an advisor. And so it's a kind of, people will duplicate exactly what you do. Like say if this is a shoe store, and I start off with just a space, and people walk in and say, well, what is this? Well, it's a shoe store. Well, where are the shoes? I said, I'll order them for you. But here's a catalog. You can take a look at it. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to walk right out that door and go to the shoe store that actually has inventory. I was just at a retail center last week, and I was looking for a black pair of dress shoes. And they said, we don't have those in stock, but we can order them on the internet. I said, no, I'll go somewhere else. I want it right now. And guess how people are. They want it right now. And when we become an advisor, when we have an inventory, we always try to maintain some type of inventory. And the reason why, because it's going to take 5 business days in order to get our product. How many people ran out of product before? And you're calling, will you please leave on the front porch? I've done it. Have some inventory. And that becoming an advisor, some people think that becoming an advisor immediately, it's almost a concern about a commitment. And the reality with it, if somebody becomes an advisor immediately, it removes a lot of their commitments. Because if they have to work their way up, they have to go through a qualification process. And I'm going to explain the qualification process. And it is exciting stuff. It's not. It can be confusing. We're not just explaining personal volume and group volume. Half of you guys were like, I don't get it, stop. Rewind, play, I don't understand. So when we're talking about qualification, we need to know some of those numbers. It removes all that stress. They just jumped away at the advisor level, they're done. They can start earning income for all 5 ways from the company. That's another benefit. You immediately start earning income. You start earning retail, wholesale, overrides, all this stuff, all the ways you earn income. Once you become a fully qualified advisor, you're eligible to earn bonuses, in which we'll talk about here soon. Then last but not least, all the unopened product is satisfaction guaranteed. What has that? If you open up a franchise, can you say a month down the road, you know what, I'm sorry, this is kind of a mistake. Can I get my money back? Here's all the my frozen burger patties I didn't open up. No. Think about what we have in AdvoCare. Think about the amount of income we can earn from AdvoCare and the amount of investment it actually takes. Business owners, you know what I'm talking about as far as what we have? It's satisfaction guarantee for all the unopened products. And if someone balks at that, because I've had people say, well, what about the unopened product? Well, you can't return products you ingested in your body. I can't help you out with that. I'm going to teach people how to work their way up towards advisorship. A couple of key things you need to know when someone's working their way up to advisor. One, you have to know pay periods. We already talked about pay periods. Yes. And the second thing is you have to know personal volume. Because those are the 2 criteria that we have when somebody's working their way up to advisor, is it has to happen over 3 consecutive pay periods. And the second thing is that they have to have a minimum of, for those 3 consecutive pay periods, a minimum of $500 in personal volume during the qualification process. So let's draw that out for you, and I'll give you a couple examples and scenarios. So we have pay periods, and this reflects time. When we looked at pay periods, and we have a pay period ending up in August 16th, this could be the close of a pay period. And this is roughly a 2-week time frame. Just simplicity, I'm just going to talk about pay periods. It can be 2 weeks. We happen to have a 3-week pay period coming up. Just in simplicity, I'm going to run through it really fast. Let me give you a couple of examples. So one of the criteria is 3 consecutive pay periods. Now that consecutive pay periods can happen at any time during their distributorship. They can become a distributor at $79 and 3 months down the road say, okay, this is when I want to begin my qualification process. They don't have to begin the qualification process right immediately when they sign up. That doesn't happen. It's just whatever they decide to say yes and start moving forward, that's when the qualification, don't complicate that process. So it's 3 consecutive pay periods. Now personal volume, $500 a minimum of personal volume. Just give you a couple of examples. One, and over this time frame, they have to accumulate that $3,000 worth of product over this time frame. And the reason why we have consecutive papers is if we didn't have consecutive papers, if they could do it over the course of a year, everybody in Advocare would become an advisor. We have to get some type of criteria for people to get a bigger discount. It's not going to accumulate over a 12-month period of time. So if you have to accumulate $3,000 of product, and say every pay period you do the minimum personal purchase or minimum personal volume of $500, what is that up to? $1,500. So